It's not that these vegetables are bad, it's that by eating them, they're taking the place of something that actually has some benefit. So I have 5 vegetables that have pretty much no nutritional value. Okay? They're not providing you any real benefit. And in the sense of that, I'm going to give you alternatives or a substitution to have instead so that you're not just left hanging. Let's go ahead and dive in. After today's video, I popped a link down below for Hiya Kids Multivitamins. If you have headaches because you're not sleeping well, because you have kids, then you'll definitely want to hear this. But anyway, the point is that it's really hard to get kids to get all of the adequate nutrition in. So Hiya is a chewable monk fruit sweetened multivitamin. So it's kind of like Flintstone vitamins when we were kids, but without all the sugar, right? Without a ton of the garbage in it. So I'm not the biggest fan of saying, hey, let's just give kids a bunch of supplements, but I also understand that as a parent, my kids don't always eat everything that I want them to eat. And it's not my job to try to force it on them. But if they can develop a healthy ritual that gets them something nutritious and gets them a little bit of the additional vitamins they might need, I think I'm doing a good service. Plus my kids love them, they're fun, and I end up probably eating more of them than my kids do because they're really good too. So anyway, that link down below will save you 50% off your first order with Hiya. So 50% off using that link down below in the description. Okay, the first one, celery sticks. Look there's a lot of weird stuff out there that talks about celery having these unique benefits. The sad truth is that celery is basically a diuretic. Okay, so that's great. So if you're holding a little bit extra water, the white part in the bottom of celery is a pretty potent diuretic. There's some evidence that demonstrates that. But there's no real nutritional value coming in there. Okay, with celery, the cool thing is, yes, it actually does take more calories to digest than actually contained in the actual celery. So in essence, you could occasionally have a free calorie now and then, but it's not going to be an effective way to lose weight. So don't just go eating a bunch of celery trying to lose weight. That's not how it really works. Okay, what I would recommend that you have instead is bok choy. Okay, bok choy, yeah, it's going to have a little bit more of a bitterness, but as far as consistency is concerned, you get similar effects that you would get with celery. You could put it in soup, you could still kind of gnaw on it, and at least you're getting the cruciferous vegetable effect. You're getting the potential indole-3-carbinol, diindolylmethane sort of anti-estrogen effect there, which is very positive. Plus you're getting a tremendous amount of vitamin A. So I'm not saying that celery is bad and that you should avoid it. That's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is saying if you have the opportunity to eat something else, please do, because you're just wasting space in your gut. Anyhow, moving on to the next. Corn. All right, corn, peas, things like that, they are so calorically dense that in order to actually get nutritional value out of them, you would have to consume so many calories, it would be worthless. It would not be worth it. A 100-gram serving of corn is going to have 96 calories, okay? Do the math, you're gonna have to consume so many calories just to get just a little bit of nutritional value. Most non-starchy vegetables are looking maybe 40, 50 overall calories in a 100-gram serving. Okay, so you're looking significantly more with corn. There's a study that was published in the journal PLOS Medicine that found that only non-starchy fruits and vegetables were associated with weight loss. In fact, what they found with this particular study is that when subjects consumed for each additional serving of corn that they had per day, that would attribute to over 2 pounds of weight gain over a 4-year period. So what that means is that just by adding a little bit of corn each day, it adds up in weight significantly. Okay. Now they were also looking at peas, they were also looking at potatoes, but they found that corn was the worst. Okay. Again, as far as nutritional value per calorie goes, you're just not getting much. So if you like to have a sweet vegetable, you like to have that sort of fix, but you don't want the corn, you can have carrots. It's kind of deceiving, right? Carrots are very, very sweet, but a lot of the flavor from the carrots is just getting carried over by the fact that there's a good amount of pectin in it too. Okay, so you get this kind of sweetness that of course is in the carrot. Yes, it's gonna be half as many calories as corn, but for some reason it still tastes pretty darn sweet. And a lot of it could have to do with the pectin. It's nice and satiating as well. That's kind of what gives it that, I don't want to call it slimy because it doesn't exactly make it sound good, but that pectin plays a big role too. So pectin is an indigestible fiber that can contribute to what are called short-chain fatty acids in our gut. Short-chain fatty acids are things like butyrate, propionate, acetate. They are very important when it comes down to allowing the gut microbiome to flourish. Okay, so we take in certain kinds of fiber, we take probiotics, we eat yogurt, we do things like that to all support our gut microbiome. And if you wanted to just swap out corn for carrots now and then, you can get a lot of that benefit. This next one is probably the worst of the bunch. It's eggplant. Eggplant doesn't really have nutritional value. Okay, but you might be wondering, yeah, but it's still got a lot of volume, like it might keep me satiated. Yeah, except for the fact that it is one of the highest lectin foods that you can consume. Look, lectins are in all kinds of foods. They're in tomatoes, they're in bell peppers, they're in other peppers. Like, you're gonna find them a lot. And I'm not saying avoid all lectins, okay, but eggplant is A, very high in lectins, but B, also has no nutritional value to go along with it. So it actually is kind of net negative. It's like the one vegetable that I would say it's really not doing you much good at all. If anything, it could potentially even be setting you back. But that's just me talking. With lectins, the main purpose of a lectin is to damage the GI tract of what is eating it. So if insects were eating it, it would cause an issue with the insects where they would get ultimately poisoned and damage their gut tract, right? There's even a study that was published in the journal Toxicology that took a look at mice in this case, and it found that mice that consumed high levels of lectins ended up having intestinal atrophy. It affected their gut so much that it actually shrunk it and made it atrophy. This doesn't mean that's 100% going to happen in humans. The bottom line is still the same. That's the purpose of a lectin in that case. Then there was a study that was published in the journal BMC Endocrine Disorders. This one I found very fascinating because it found that high levels of lectins can actually bind to leptin receptors. Okay, leptin receptors are what would normally receive leptin, which are our satiety hormone. And you might be thinking, well, that's a good thing. Don't we want to activate that leptin receptor more? Well, no, because if we have lectins binding to a leptin receptor, we are decreasing the sensitivity of that receptor. So leptin can help us lose weight. Leptin can help our brain send a signal to help us burn more fat and crank up the metabolism. But if it's getting bound by lectins and not leptin, it's not able to accurately send its signal, and it's disrupting that sensitivity. So this could be a problem. It doesn't mean that it's going to stop your weight loss in its tracks, but if you're someone that chronically likes to chow down on eggplant, then maybe you should reconsider a little bit. Again, you factor in the lectin issue along with no nutritional value. It just doesn't make much sense. I would recommend you have something like zucchini instead, because you can do a lot with zucchini that you could do with eggplant, right? You can slice it thin and make lasagna. You can still make a Parmesan. You can do all kinds of stuff with zucchini. Anyhow, I move on. This next one, iceberg lettuce, also known as a blue cheese or ranch transport vehicle, because that's all that it is. Okay, there is not 5% of any kind of essential vitamin in iceberg lettuce. Okay, you're not getting anything except for cellulose, water, and the ability to transport more calories into your mouth, period. Okay, if you have a salad with iceberg lettuce, you better believe that it is a great way for you to get 950 calories of ranch into your mouth. Okay, if you simply make the switch over to romaine lettuce alone, you're at least going to get vitamin K. Okay, so you literally are probably just better off to just scrap the iceberg lettuce. Do you get some fiber? I guess you get a little bit of cellulose that might kind of satiate you. So maybe it's a transport vehicle for the grass-fed burger that you're eating or something. But the point is go with the romaine instead. The next one is one that really is only there for flavor. Radishes. Do not expect to get nutritional value out of radishes. There is a small amount of vitamin C, like in a 100-gram serving, you might get a 25% daily value of vitamin C. But again, not talking much here. Other than that, again, less than 5% of any specific vitamin. So you're not getting much benefit there. But if you like the taste of radish or you like that crunch, also just going with a cold beet, where it's not fully cooked, where it's still kind of crunchy and you slice it thin, or you use shaved beets instead of shaved radishes or anything like that, that can be really delicious and also get you the nitric oxide effect that has some potential benefit. So I'd highly recommend you go that route instead. There you're potentially helping out with nutrient delivery and some more blood flow and that whole nitric oxide pathway. And just to recap, we have celery that we want to replace with bok choy. Okay, instead of corn, you're gonna wanna go for carrots, and you can steam them, do whatever the heck you want with them. Eggplant, you're gonna wanna swap out for zucchini. If you're gonna go with iceberg lettuce, just skip the iceberg lettuce and have a tablespoon of ranch and put it directly in your mouth. Otherwise, with radishes, swap them out for some shaved beets or something like that. I'll see you tomorrow.